What's up, garden nerds? Today I am here inside of my awesome greenhouse, my pop-up greenhouse. You can see all my plants in here, mostly all of my mango seedlings from this past summer. This was the first time I've ever had a greenhouse, ever experimented with a greenhouse this past winter, and it has been awesome. Kept all of my mango seedlings and everything else in here perfect. It's kept them actually growing throughout the winter. And so I want to share with you the few things that I learned so that if you're on the fence thinking about a greenhouse, you have all the knowledge and tools necessary to be able to do so successfully. So let's talk about it. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so the first thing I learned was location. Location is extremely important when trying to figure out where to put your greenhouse at. By the way, this is a pop-up greenhouse that I plan to keep up during the winter and then take down during the summer. I'll post a link of where I got it on Amazon so you can purchase it as well. But location of your greenhouse is extremely important. The whole point of having a greenhouse is to heat it up during the winter, right when it's cold. And so what you need to do is find the sunniest spot in your yard. Think about how the sun shifts in the winter. The sunniest spot in your yard is where you want to put the greenhouse. Don't put it on the north side of your house. Don't put it somewhere where it's going to get a lot of shade, because it will defeat the whole purpose of having a greenhouse. So my location, this is right by my pool. This area gets blasted by the sun all day long. It's against the block wall, which is hot. It's on the pool deck, which is hot. So that's where I placed it. So go and find the hottest, sunniest place in your yard, and that is where you want to plant, or not plant, that is where you want to put your greenhouse. And the next thing that I learned that I clearly did not do good, as you can tell as I stand here at the door of my greenhouse, is creating paths inside of your greenhouse so that you can move around easily. I obviously did not do that. You can see this big potted mango here that I just kind of placed right in the middle after I shoved the rest of the things in here. So it's made it very difficult to get in and out of here. You know, I kind of have to come and push branches and leaves out of my way. Then once I get in here, I'm good. But I still don't have tons of room to move around. Look at those mango flowers. That's what I'm talking about. One other thing when we're talking about paths is you can create some shelving, right? See all these little pots, all these mango seedlings? I could have brought some shelving in here and placed those on there, and then I could have things on top of the shelves, below the shelves. It would have given me a lot more room. So before you're like me and you just start throwing plants in here without a thought, plan it out how you're going to organize it. It'll make it a lot easier to get in here and look at things, walk around, water, and just take care of all the plants in the greenhouse in general. As you guys can see, I have sandbags here. I have those pots there. And when you come around and look inside, I have these Home Depot buckets full of sand, and then ties going up to support and hold down this greenhouse. The reason for that is these are wind magnets, right? They don't take much wind and they want to go fly away. So it's very, very important. As soon as I told people that I was getting the greenhouse, they all warned me, look out for the wind. And so I went to town and, you know, put it up against this wall for some protection, and then did the sandbags and the buckets just to make sure that it didn't fly away. There were some very, very windy nights where I was a little bit scared, but by doing the sandbags and then by doing these Home Depot buckets, it held it down. I never had to worry too much about it. So just make sure you keep that in mind. You can't just get this little pop-up tent that's a wind magnet and not hold it down. You have to secure it, or else it will fly away with just a little bit of wind. Probably the biggest thing that I learned, and I feel dumb for not really understanding this or recognizing that this was the case until I got my greenhouse, is you have to add a heat source, right? The greenhouse is not made to hold in the heat. It's just made to, during the day, pull in the heat and keep things warm. But if the sun's not shining on it, it's not going to hold in heat. In fact, a lot of times it can be a little bit colder than the outside temperature. So you have to add a heat source, which I bought this bad boy right here. I'll post the link. It's the Green Palma, I think is what it's called. And they're all over. This is like the brand that I kept seeing everywhere. I finally just bought it. And I ran this every night during the winter when it got down close to freezing and below freezing. and it worked. But if you don't add a heat source, then you're kind of defeating the whole purpose of having a greenhouse. So if you're going to buy a greenhouse and you want to keep your plants warm throughout the whole winter, you have to add a heat source. I think this guy cost me like $100, $150. I can't remember, but it wasn't bad. And like I said, it kept my plants nice and toasty throughout the winter. But the nights I didn't have it on, because when I originally got the greenhouse, I didn't have a heat source and it got really cold in here. So I learned quickly you have to add a heat source with any greenhouse that you have. So that's it, guys. It's actually pretty cheap and pretty easy to have a greenhouse. If you have the room and the money to have a permanent greenhouse, I would say go for it. But if you're like me, most backyard gardeners, you don't have tons of space, you don't want a greenhouse up year round, go with this pop-up. Like I said, I'll post the link below. They're all over Amazon. Super simple. Like I said, I keep it up during the winter. I plan on taking it down during the spring and summer and even into the fall, and then just putting it up each year. So super simple, worked very well, did not cost me a lot of money. And now I have all of these awesome seedlings in here that I can plant come springtime, and they were able to grow throughout the whole winter instead of just, kind of sitting there dormant until it warmed up. So if you're on the fence about getting a greenhouse, get it. And if you have any additional questions, maybe things I haven't thought of, reach out to me, leave a comment, shoot me a message on Instagram, and I will be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. As always, garden nerds, have a good day.